Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Monday night Talking Town Extra Time. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov. It is busy around here this evening. We have had the F1 show, 7:15, discussing the controversial ending to a championship race season. We have had the Talking Cricket show with Rich, Brandon, Terry, and the Essex Cricket Podcast team. Thank you so much for that. If you've not seen it, jump back and have a look for sure. A really good listen. I was really engrossed in it. So sorry we are late. Rich will be joining us this evening instead of Vicky. Vicky's sadly not too well, but he is finishing up with his posse, as we call them. And we sit here now, 8-9 days in without Ipswich Town manager still? That's squeaky sort of bum time, is it not? I'd love to know how you're feeling this evening. We've got a packed show for you. Looking forward to discussing Ipswich Town as always. We have got a goal of the month from our friends at Trimley Red Devils, a new prediction league, lots to discuss. So if you want to get involved in your show, your platform, for fans, by fans, I'm just the person who presses the buttons and moves people around. Then you can do so by by two ways. You can use the live chat, as many of you are doing so now, or you can get involved by simply asking for a link to the show. Just write link in the chat and the link will appear. Click it. Any smartphone, any tablet, as long as you've got a microphone and a webcam, you can get involved. Before we go any further, I would like to say a huge thank you to all of our Talking Town monthly supporters. I know why George was laughing in the introduction, but I didn't know there was new updated boards until after making the introduction. And I've made them all for December. So you can laugh all through December, Mr. George, as the old boards are on the introduction. But I always back it up with this one anyway. But yes, for those that perhaps don't know, perhaps you're new, perhaps you sleep through these introductions normally, this is our TT Fifth Stand Ultras, the fifth stand because we are the fifth stand of Ipswich Town Football Club, the place where fans come together to talk about their team, unfiltered with passion and fiery sometimes opinion. But this isn't possible without you wonderful people on this board right here, the monthly contributors that allow us to plan and to bring shows like we did this time last week with Marcus Stewart. Only a week ago. Christ, that's flown. It seems like a year ago. So if you do get value from us, if you do enjoy our shows, if you do find you're watching us more and more, then please do consider jumping on the Ko-Fi link and maybe pledging some monthly support to us to help us grow even further. There you go, George. Is that the right ending to the board? Is that the right one? Is that yeah? Just give me a quick nod in the back. No, it's not. What do you mean? No, it's not. What do you mean? No. Hang on. Let's bring him in. What do you mean? What do you mean? No, it's not. What do you mean? No, it's not.
I think that's the last new one. I think I left a gap between the anonymous ones and the other one, but without checking, I don't know.
So you want to say yes, Gov? Yes, Gov. No, I'm joking. How are you, George? You well?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. Battling through, trying to dodge the Omicron like I'm a ninja in the Matrix. I'm just trying. You see it coming. There's the Omicron. Like that. Feel like that. No.
You'll have to show me on Saturday, mate.
Okay. Let's discuss this now. Saturday. I'm a bit nervous. I'll be honest. I'll say it. I'm a bit nervous about Saturday, not because of the result, but because of this flipping Omicron virus. We're sitting here now. And I said this to the guys in the WhatsApp group, 30-odd thousand people, only, a week till Christmas. I'll be honest. I hope the club are making plans to give me a code because I might want to watch it from home. How are you feeling about it?
Well, no one's going to blame you for being nervous, I don't think. But yeah, it's a risk, isn't it? But then everything we do is a risk at the moment. It feels like. So put your mask on, mate. You'll be.
Well, yeah.
Fine.
I've not taken it off since Halloween. Can you not tell? But no, I just thought it was important to say that on the platform because I know there'll be people at home that are nervous, people at home that are apprehensive, and
it's perfectly understandable to be nervous and apprehensive about it, and nobody will think any less of you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't care if they do. To be honest with you, I just want to have a good Christmas. Do you know what I mean? I've got my mum coming, who's in her 70s. And that's all I care about, particularly after last Christmas, where it was like I sat outside a conservatory last Christmas. Bloody Arctic weather! I ain't doing that again for hell or high water. I'll tell you that much. Right, Prediction League. A new one is open. Here it is. Ipswich Town versus Sunderland. Colchester versus Hartlepool. West Ham versus Norwich. And Cambridge versus Rotherham. George, talk to me about Cambridge versus Rotherham. How do you see that one going?
I see that going firmly in Rotherham's favour.
You think?
But I've been wrong every other time that I've made a prediction this season. So
that's true.
That's
well, as we will see by the board, to be honest with you, in a second.
Yeah,
but talk to me. What score do you think it's going to
be? Let's go. They fight hard at home, don't they? Let's go 1-2 to Rotherham.
1-2 to Rotherham. Yeah, okay, absolutely. Prediction League table now coming up. It was double points last week for those that paid attention. So Mike Woods has jumped out in the lead. Stephen Davis, Rob Smith, Ben Moore and Trevor are our top 4. George, you're somewhere in there. Heidi Oldfield, first time entrant. Look at that, look straight into the second board. Still Matt Phillips somewhere at the bottom. This week, we will have a spot prize because it's Christmas. And oh, bugger, where's my hat gone? Never mind. And I'm feeling rather festive. So Christmas is on the
didn't it?
I don't know. It was here earlier. I reckon it's on the back of the bloody desk. So yes, we're going to have a Christmas spot prize. You must subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's one of the rules of the spot prize. Do you know what? I've forgotten what rules I've set up for the spot prize as well. Do you know when you have some
fire tonight? On fire.
Do you know when you have some stuff really nailed, and then other times you don't have stuff really nailed? You must subscribe to the YouTube account for entry to spot prize, and I need your email or Twitter account handles. Obviously, when you've won, if you win, I need to have a screenshot sent to me to show that you are subscribed. What the prize will be, I can't tell you, but I've got a bag of prizes, as Rich will tell you, that I've planned to give out through the year and just haven't. So I will do a Rod Stewart, George. I will go into the bag and pull out something for somebody to win.
I totally missed that reference. I didn't get it at all. But
Have you ever seen the Rod Stewart Scottish Cup draw?
No, I don't think so. But I will look it up immediately after the
look
show.
it up. I think he's had a gin or 4. It is a great moment. Right. Yesterday, Talking Town, I got in trouble because I was not reading enough comments out by a chap called Pierre. So I will try and do this. Yeah. So, Tom wants the link. Okay, sorry, Tom. I was waffling away to George there, and I've not put the link. So the link's coming in the chat in just a second. Here it comes now. We've got Tom Pips asking for the link. Mike the Fisherman says, Mogger for the job. Mike D, how long will it take Crunch to take down cricket jersey replaced with Town ones? Well, you'll find out, Mike, because he'll be when he's here, he'll be in. Chris Boyd, if they interviewed Harris on Friday, they can't have been that keen on him. Billy Dalton says, get Alex from the show. I've asked Alex a couple of times. I'm hoping to ask him again and get him on the show. That would be absolutely awesome. Lee said, even and all, give Norwood a contract extension. Lee, behave. Ian Houston, I think if Harris was first choice, he'd be unveiled by now. Stephen Parris in the DM his bank statement. Don't do that, Lee. Don't do that, Stephen. Sorry. Lee Brown, been working and kept checking the social media. No news. Thought it would have been today. Am I triple jabbed? Yes, I am. Lee Anderson makes no odds to me as all the seats around me are always occupied. Gary Blake, hide my booster and will wear a mask on Saturday. Crunch, you ain't got a link yet. Oh, okay. Hang on then, Crunch. 2 seconds, mate. Sorry. Yeah, right. George, talk to me.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
sitting here on Monday, the 13th of December. We sacked Paul Jewell on the 9th.
About 7 years ago.
But yeah. Are you concerned that this football club has yet to employ somebody on a full-time basis as its manager?
No, not even a
You're
tiny
not?
bit. No.
Okay, talk to me. Why? Why are you not?
When you sent this to me, I wrote a copious amount of things down. It just kind of like vomited out of me.
Good, let's have it.
Because I think but why? What makes anyone think because you pitched this question to me that there is no plan? Is it because it's not being shoveled into our faces like Evans used to? Evans used to use a plan like it was a pacifier. So every time we got slightly unrestful, every time there was a little bit of unrest, he would come out with this 5-year plan and everyone would feel a little bit better about it because it made kind of sense on paper. But in reality, it was utter nonsense. He was just saying words. And it's really easy to just say words. And I think the thing that's frustrating us as fans at the moment is we're not hearing those words from the club. And that's not a criticism because they can just quietly go about their business for all I care. The reason that I think this is not, this is all theory. And so it wouldn't surprise me at all if when we sacked Cook, not Paul Jewell, for not getting the reference, when we sacked Cook, I reckon Lowe was probably high on our list of potential candidates. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Preston got wind of that and moved quickly because it just happened so frighteningly quickly.
I agree.
If that's the case, then fine. But the fact that we didn't then just jump onto one of those available many speaks volumes to me, I hope, that one or two things is happening. Either we're doing proper due diligence on them all, and it might end up being one of them from somewhere on that list of 98 of them or however many there are, or we're going to find someone that's completely left field because one of those isn't available. 9 times out of 10, if you sack a manager and someone comes straight in, they're available already because they have to be, because you can't go behind other clubs' backs and start negotiating with their managers. So I reckon it points to the fact that we didn't have somebody. We might have had someone in mind, but we didn't have someone lined up. We now may have had to pivot, or we may just have put it out there. But we've put it out. The best way to get good candidates for a job is to let people know that job exists, right?
That's a great use of pivot. Love it. Pivot.
I'm glad you're listening to me. You let people know that a job exists. That you can't do that unless you can't do that properly unless you get rid of the person that's in that job in the first place. You get yourself in all sorts of hot water.
But I can hear in my imaginary headphones the media mogul saying, "This ain't an administration job, at home base or at,
no, it's not
bowling. We're sitting here welcoming CVs."
And they're the people that, with the greatest of respect to them, that you employ on a whim. You can employ those people on a CV. You don't employ a football manager. Matt said it himself yesterday. He said this isn't a normal way of applying for a job, right? So it's not a normal process. It's not something that any of us are used to. And the fact that nothing's coming out of the club, apart from somebody has leaked to another outlet that 9 out of the top 10 favourites from last Friday probably aren't in the running, that's clearly come from the club. Because it's placating all of the people that are going, well, this lot can naff off because, they're just not inspirational at all. It's a pile, I said on Twitter, it's a pile of Evans-style appointments that I'm seeing at the moment. And maybe one of them will get the job. But the fact that it's taking a decent amount of time fills me with confidence that we're doing it the right way. And it might not work out. But look at it this way. We were crying out for Cook to make a change in-game for the last 9 months. The owners are just doing that in season. You can't have it both ways. You can't say wait till the end of a season but complain if a manager doesn't change during a game. It's the same thing. It's the same game. It's just on a different level. So they've made exactly the right shout for me. And I'm a fan of these guys, but I have no concerns whatsoever about a lack of plan or a lack of planning or the fact that this was done on a whim. Because I think if it had been done on a whim, we'd have signed one of those managers that Marcus Evans would have had lined up by now, and we haven't. And maybe it'll be Neil Harris. maybe it'll be one of the others on that list. But if, as and when they come in, I will have more faith that we've done our due diligence because it's taken more than 7 days.
Okay. There are some that will say the fact that it's taken more than 7 days shows that it is a bit of a whim. The person coming in next may be one of those people. We've got a few comments, first of all. Mark Tuxford says, give it to Colin Plum to end of the season. Mike the Fishman says, he's put my CV in, ain't heard anything yet. No news is good news. I'd love to. Mike, can you share that CV? I'd love to see what you've put as the accolades to qualify you for the Ipswich Town job, because you're probably more qualified than previous managers. Stephen Parry, Rooney's announced he wants that Kirchner to buy the club. Will not look good on him if he's not the buyer. Missed Ipswich Town. The problem is if a manager comes in and doesn't get top 6, he's probably going to get sacked. I think managers out there know our season is dead. These Americans want instant success. God bless whoever comes in. Alex Wilson.
I think that's an interesting point too, because I don't think that this top 6 or bust thing is a thing. So I said something similar on Twitter yesterday about Warnock. And I've said on the show before, I think Warnock is getting close to being a decent choice. If we can't, there will get a point where if we don't find somebody who's long term, I still don't want us to make one of those on a whim decisions just on the off chance that Neil Harris or whoever it might be successful. We've done that for forever. I would. Do
you not feel though, the longer it goes on, the longer the risk of panic sets in, that you haven't got a manager, the fans get itchy, and then you employ one of these Lambert or one of these Evans type appointments that you're saying because you're suddenly in freefall.
But that's us of the past. I think if we go for a short term appointment, if we can't find the right long term appointment, the best thing to do is go for the most suited short term appointment. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, that's Neil Warnock all day long. You bring him in with the remit of galvanizing the squad and making sure that the players as individuals are all mentally prepared and know what it means to wear the badge and know what it means to go out there and play for Ipswich Town and know what it means to go out there and try and win a game of football, because some of them do look a little lost. Their confidence is shot from the outside looking in. You bring someone in who can fix that for 6 months. And if the right person comes up in the next 6 months, there's an agreement that Warnock goes into director of football or whatever you want to call him until the summer when he can retire gracefully or go to the next club. Yeah. Right. And a manager comes in and starts doing his job. I'm not worried even remotely. If panic's not the right word, but if they have to, I'm going to say it again, pivot again, then they have to pivot in the right way. And I think they will.
Pivot. That's all right. 2 questions. I want 1-word answers. Do you think there's a plan? Me? Yes. Do you think there's a plan?
Yes. 100%.
Do you have faith in that plan?
Well, I don't know what the plan is, but I have faith in the people making it.
Okay. Well, I think this man might disagree. Where is it? There he is, Mr. Richard Moss, busier than a fly round, you know what. Ince pies, beers up for the lads.
What happened? Did you not send me the link? I've been waiting here for 20 minutes.
Too many links, too many people, too many shows. I was doing a show, bud. That's what I was doing. So, George has complete faith in the plan and the people making the decisions around that plan. Crunch.
There is no plan. There is no plan. There is no plan. They're stumbling around in the dark, sifting through them CVs.
Dude, now, just because you're in the dark doesn't mean that they are.
Doesn't like this. But listen, in football, it goes on. They talk to managers behind the other manager's back. That's what we need to be doing. You know, they should have had someone lined up. Ryan Lowe, I do agree with it. Look, he was top of my list. He was top of, I think, Matt's list until he changed his mind and then he said, I want a safe pair of hands. And then about 3 days later, he said, I want a big name. But I think at the minute, they don't know who they want. I honestly do not think they know who they want, George.
But that's I didn't say that they didn't know who they want, but that's a good thing. If you don't know who you want, take your time and find the person that you want, Crunch. Like, what are you advocating for them to be making a snap decision on someone?
Oh, no, I want them to get the right look. We all want them to get the right decision, but
should it take 9 days? Well, longer than 9 days.
9 days is no amount of time in any.
That's now. Our season is on the line here. We've got 4 games before. No, 3 before the New Year. Then we've got obviously Lincoln New Year's Day. But we've got massive games here, George. Our season could be decided in these next 4 games.
We've already got a win. What is it? 2 games in 3 for the rest of the season.
Save our season.
It can be done, but the sooner you appoint that manager, the sooner you get
that
new manager bounce,
who's going to do it?
the sooner we can climb up this league, because we all hate it in here. The refs are shit in here. You know, the fans are shit in here. I go to Wigan on Saturday, George. Wigan are second in the league. Their ground's not even half full. You know, it's an embarrassment. We're in this league. I know Mike Brown. If Mike Brown was made of chocolate, he'd lick himself to death because he thinks he's the best coach in the world out there. He doesn't want Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock's got 8 promotions on his CV, you know, and I know he's not going to be a long-term appointment, but he's someone that we need at the minute to give them a kick up the arse, to give the fans a kick up the arse, because as fans and as a club, Martin, we are way too nice.
Well, we are, but this is interesting. I didn't know I would have this on the show tonight. Obviously, 2 different people with different dynamics and opinions on this one matter. Not the player, the issue.
We did both say Neil Warnock within 5 minutes of each other, though.
You both do want Neil Warnock, but he's not really been linked other than fans linking him. Like, it's almost one of those, if you say it enough times, the universe will make it happen situations.
But no one knows, because the East Anglian today are scratching their arse.
Well, Felixstowe Blues, EADT, very quiet. They know something and can't release it.
Miserable Matt Phillips did say, he did say we can use his name, because
he says, make sure you moan about the EADT's lack of coverage today on the manager. Absolutely woeful. Quote me if you like. I just did. There you go. Absolutely woeful is what the moaning mogul called it.
Nobody knows anything.
But because we don't know doesn't mean that they don't know.
They don't know.
Because we don't know the plan doesn't mean they don't have a plan.
But was their plan Ryan Lowe, and then Ryan Lowe?
It wouldn't surprise me at all. But would you rather, like I said, would you rather, if let's say our plan was Ryan Lowe, and we thought now's the time before someone else does, and Preston caught wind of it, and they reacted, and you know, obviously he went to Preston. What would you rather we'd done at that point? Just gone, oh shit, panic Neil Harris, or oh shit, panic Mark Bircham, or whoever else? Would you rather we did that? Or would you rather?
You might end up wasting 12 days, 14 days, and then still going shit. Panic, Neil Harris.
But that you didn't listen to me at all. If it goes 14 days, if it goes 14 days and we sign Neil Harris, I will have a lot more faith that somebody in the right position that isn't me has enough belief in Neil Harris that it feels like a better appointment than if we'd appointed him 10 days ago.
I don't want to know
if we'd knee-jerked into someone like Neil Harris, I probably would have been disappointed.
For what it's worth, I agree with you. I believe in the plan, and I definitely believe in the people making the plan.
Have you missed the super chat?
I just have to play devil's advocate. Oh, I haven't got that far down the screen yet. There's loads of comments. Robert 899 reading Cruncher's post about the lad who got the ticket today means more to me than Saturday as well. I hope that little guy's amazing day. Easy to forget what a fortunate position we're in.
I totally agree with him. I had a message from it was a teacher in Ipswich, and this little lad come up to him and said he's going to the game Saturday. And look, we all get carried away. Managers, players. Even today, you know, Macaulay Bonne. You know, I don't know if you've mentioned him already, Martin, but look. Massive shout out to him and his girlfriend, you know, going through really tough times. And sometimes as players, we think they're just football players, but they're human beings, aren't they, at the end of the day? And Saturday, I don't know if you're going, Martin. I know you're worried about obviously COVID and all that, and quite rightly, you know, but whoever's going to the game, just enjoy it, you know. We haven't had a full stadium for 6 years, and there's going to be kids there who've never gone to games, and sometimes it's more than just the game. You know, it's more than the result at 10-5 on a Saturday.
I'm really disappointed for that lad, because he's going to go to Portman Road and be fucking disappointed for the rest of his life.
I'm trying to be nice, and you're just...
Because, you know, they ruined most of my weekends for the last 32 years.
Matt Phillips just said the other week about all these kids going to the game. He said, I hope they're not sitting behind me.
Well, that doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that he must be what 10, 12, 14. He's got about 20 odd years of catching up with me to do for miserable. Because
he doesn't know it at the minute. He doesn't know it. He's excited, that lad, going to the game, and so he should be, and so should a lot of other kids Saturday. They're going down there. Get your shirts on.
I saw Alex Wilson's tweet about how he hopes people get the bug. Badly worded, Alex. Badly worded. But the sentiment is very well thought out.
He means bug or buzz.
He means the bug for football, not what other bugs might be floating about. But just careful with your words there, Alex. Ben Moore, brilliant. If we wait, then the less time the new manager has to get his ideas to start across to the players. If McGrew is here in January, then it will be his players. Tim Molden says, Poppycock, you cannot say Harris is a better manager than Cook. If we think it, the players probably think it too. A comment from yesterday, you mentioned Wigan. Adrak said, stop rattling on about fan base. Tell you now, if Ipswich was not in the middle of nowhere, they too would not have the fan base they have. Wigan, like many other clubs, are surrounded with big name clubs, or did you not take geography at school?
He was actually having a go at Stephen Parry. He was actually having a go at Stephen, which I think was a little bit harsh, to be quite honest.
He was. But I wasn't going to make that known. But as we're going to make that known, Parry, go back and have some beef. But no, don't really.
Stephen Parry was great at the game on Saturday. He was giving them plenty, and I'm saying, you're a Northerner as well. He's like, I
saw that on the show yesterday.
And then yesterday he's got literally no voice. I don't know what he's been doing. His voice is literally gone. He's gone all Paul Cook.
I'm really quite bemused by the fact that you probably think Portman Road right now is like I've seen at a Dad's Army. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering, don't panic. And you're more a scene out of some gangster movie where they're sat at the foot of the table, cigar. It's all been taken in hand, James Bond style. I don't know. It's just interesting that we've got two different approaches 9 days on. I will be honest, I did think we'd have a manager by now, but I still trust the process. And not a name that's in the chat quite often or coming up more and more. The more Neil Warnock is mentioned, there's some people that say if we're going to go for the dinosaurs, bring back George Burley. What do you think on that one?
Warnock's been in the game, hasn't he? He's been managing in the game, whereas George, we went and see him at Barrow, and I think Colin asked him. He said, look, he'd always be available if town, but he's happy coming to the game, watching. He's walks his dog. I think he still lives local. Would he really want it? No.
I think Warnock comes with
when Paul Jewell come here, George, he'd been out of the game quite a few years, And I know that they still watch the games, but it's totally different,
Like I said, if Warnock comes in, he's a clear short-term appointment, as he's been everywhere for the last 6 years or so, because he keeps saying he's going to retire at the end of the season. But I think he comes in with a skill set which is to make a difference within a squad of players in terms of whether I think his man management and club management in terms of managing that relationship with fans, at least in the short term, is something that he really has in his toolkit. And that's something that we need as a club right now. So if we're not going to pretend that we're bringing someone in for long term, if we can't find the right person who is going to turn Ipswich into the club that we want it to be over the next 4 years, bring someone in for 6 months and don't pretend that they're coming in to get us promoted. Don't pretend that they're coming in and they might be around for 4 years. Bring them in and say, look, they're coming in for 6 months. And he has a really clear remit. The remit is, if we can get us into the top 6, then amazing. But what we want is to go into next summer with a real spring in our step. And if we can bring the right person in to manage the team in the meantime, he is going to see over that. And I'm going to say the word, and I really hate it because it's been overused recently. Transition from himself to the next person and really start turning us into a proper football club and a proper football team as well, because that's what we're lacking at the moment is the unity of a football team who looks like they're on the up.
I actually would like Warnock to stay longer than 6 months. And I say that because if you bring a Neil Warnock in, Rich, you're bringing him in because you think he can get you promoted at the first chance of asking, even now as you sit in the table where you do. And if he does do what we think Neil Warnock can do at this level and what he could do with this group of players, I don't see a better manager for a dogfight and keeping yourself in the division than Neil
That's what
Warnock.
I said to Colin today, I said, Colin said like short term to the end of the season. I said, yeah, but Colin, what happens if you have him then and he gets you promoted out of this league? You're not going to get rid of him then, are you?
But you have to have a succession plan with Warnock. He's 73 years old. I'm not saying he's about to drop dead, but he is going to have to retire at some point. So you've got to have a plan, even if you move him into the position that Peter Reid's been holding and just he sits in the stands and help. But that depends who the person is that comes in to replace him. I think if Warnock comes in tomorrow, Wednesday, Ashton is still looking for our next manager.
But did we think that Paul could be here for 9 months, George? Did we think Cook could be here for 9 months? You know, in football, I don't think anyone. It is really hard, and I do get what you're saying, you know, because he is at that age. But Mike Brown, why is he a dinosaur? You look at his CV; he has got 8 promotions, and if you're looking for a manager to get you out of this league, there's no one better out there, Martin, than Neil Warnock, regardless of his age.
Well, no, exactly. And if he fouls to get you out of the division, the summer is a better chance to get a progressive manager, a better manager, any manager that's not named one of the ones.
Why is it embarrassing, Mike Brown? Why is it embarrassing by so-called fans? I'll tell you what, I fucking go all over the country, mate. You don't even get off your sofa even when you fucking can. So don't ever go at me calling me a so-called fan. I'm not having that. No, he's not.
I think it's a good chance to. I think it's a good time we hear from Ben. Welcome to Private Space Therapy, the business of our very own milk tray man, Ben Adams, who's a certified therapist and counsellor registered with the BACP. Ben's offering appointments face-to-face in Colchester on the beautiful university grounds, or by video, telephone, or even home visit. So if you want to have a conversation with Ben, give him a call, give him an email. Work out your differences.
You said you can go to midweek games, so I'll be expecting you at Barrow on Wednesday night, yeah?
Oh, fuck
off.
No one.
Does Ben do couples? Can we send Crunch and Mike?
Well, I think we might have to at this rate. Crunch, I'm with Mike on this one. No one's going to Barrow. Even the Barrow fans ain't.
There's a lot of people I know are going to Barrow.
But Lacey, I know that's a lie, because I know you don't know anybody.
I know more people than you think I know.
Don't get lippy with me, Sunshine, all right? Because I've got powers here.
I
will remove you from this show. It's a platform for fans, but I've got a button to press. No, I'm only playing with you. Stand by the embarrassing comment. All right, Mike. The link's in the chat, buddy. If you want to come on and have a word with Crunch, do.
Here you go. Look, Matt Stannard. Matt Stannard has got a free ticket, Mike. The offer is there. Come on.
And he'll pick you up en route. There you go. There you go. And I'll buy your coffees all night. There you go. Now you got no excuses, all right? And because I know you ain't gonna go. That's easy money. Don't worry, Matt. The media mogul has turned my £5 into £35.
You want to get into that, don't you? You are quite interested in getting into this gambling lot, George. We've had it on our WhatsApp group.
No. I'm not. No, he didn't say it was gambling. He just said give me a £5 and I'll turn it into 35 quid. That to me sounds really exciting.
I'll give him 50 quid and see if he can turn it into 350 quid.
Exactly.
He says it's that easy, doesn't he?
In 6 months' time, you can have somebody else sit in this chair because I'll be fucking on the beach. So easy money, right? That's what I'm thinking. I know George is into gambling heavily. Big time gambling. It just strikes me as that, he pivots from accumulator to accumulator.
That's 3 times I've heard that word. Pivot.
Rampant ageism, says Dr. Zach King. Seriously, though, the fact he's been in football is the big difference for me. Lisa, I don't care if he's foreign, young or old, from Premier League or non-league, as long as the players play for him and improve. I think that's why people want Neil Warnock, though, in all seriousness, because they look at things on the internet and they see it and they think that's what that dressing room needs. Alex Wilson, the legend. Oh, sorry, there you go. You've heard the chat. What's been going on? What are you thinking?
I'm a Warnock fan personally.
How dare you?
I know. Come at me, Mike. And I can't even run away, so there you go. I'm a sitting target.
Fuck's sake, Alex.
No, in all seriousness, I saw that Warnock's gone to favourite today, I think. And the way I see it, as Crunch and as we've all said, he's a proven manager at this level. And we said that, if he can get us up, he'd be the best. He'd be a good manager to have us maybe give him if he gets us up, give him next season, because he could be that manager that could get us established in the Championship. Because let's face it, let's get our expectations right here. If we go up, it's not going to be a case of we're going to go up and then be a middle to top end Championship team. We're going to need a manager to establish us in the Championship.
From Blue. Billy Dalton, All Rise. That's one of my favourites. Do you want me to sing for you?
Oh Christ! No, don't sing for us as well. It's bad enough that you're here.
And bear in mind, it's not the guy. I'm called the Cruncher. If you don't know me around here, you should do by now anyway.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Did you really just say you know who I am?
I'm kind of a big deal around here. Christ, sorry, Alex. Carry on. Sorry, ignore him.
So what I was saying, we're not going to be that team that's going to do back-to-back promotion to be a top-end Championship side. We need a manager that's going to be able to establish us in the Championship. And for me, Warnock's got a proven track record at doing that. So no, he's not a long-term appointment by any stretch of the imagination. But if he's the manager to come in and do the job we need him to do now, then surely that's a good thing to do. And for me, the fact that we're 9 days in and we've not got a manager, that's almost, I find that quite reassuring personally, because it could have been quite easy for them to literally sack Cook and see. I'm going to throw him out there, Mark Bircham. Mark Bircham was available. He was at our game, potentially battering up to try and get the job. He could have been in. And for me, I would rather take 9, 10, 11, how many days and get the right man for our football club than take 2 days and get another wrong one.
That said, if it is Mark Bircham or Neil Harris or who else has been linked, Neil Lennon, somebody who you could have had, instantly and not gone past Wigan, not gone past Sunderland, not gone past Barrow without a manager, will you still feel the same, or will you feel that that's time that's been wasted, the season that's been frittered away? Because as Crunch says, and I think this is what I don't want to speak for Rich, but this is what Rich's comment probably is: live bullets are happening right now. The season's on the line,
and I don't.
You've got the iceberg right in front of you, and we're still trying to run around to and appoint a captain. It's
the only thing this conversation tells me is that it's happened 4 weeks too late.
What, sacking Cook?
Yep.
Explain.
Because the only issue that you have with it taking time is the fact that you feel like the season's slipping away. Now, I disagree because I think the season is probably just about slipped away from us already. And I think we might have made a bit more of a panic appointment if we really weren't kind of assuming that as a club. But if we do genuinely think that this season isn't over and we think we can make 2 points a game for the rest of the season, we as a club genuinely think that we can do that, then we're pushing it in terms of for time. But if we thought we should have done it 4 weeks earlier, if we knew that we were going to take
2nd of November, George, we went to Wycombe and we won 4-1. That's what, 5-6 weeks ago. So are you really going to sack him 2 weeks after you won there? And everyone thought the season had lift off then.
Well, I've been on this show. I've been on this show a lot of Mondays this season, and I've not moved away from, unless I see consistently better performance.
Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, because we always used
and I saw no consistency from Cook. I wouldn't have batted an eyelid if we'd sacked him 2 months ago, because
I wouldn't have done.
I've seen no improvement. Honestly, no consistent improvement. 1 game in 6, maybe 2 games in 6. Is not good enough. Not with this squad.
No.
So if I had any kind of constructive feedback for the owners right now, it's that they might have waited just a little bit too long. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, I completely agree. Well, my thoughts and feelings. It would be after Bolton, but because that for me was the point where we didn't make adjustments in the game. He hadn't done any point through his tenure, and that was the turning point. But yeah, you are right, Crunch. 5 weeks ago, we were smacking the doors off Wycombe. Who do you want, Alex?
Warnock.
For 6 months or 2 years?
I would say you bring him in with the remit to try and get us up.
Yep.
If he gets us up, you give him. There's almost like a clause within the contract. If you get us up and deliver us to where we want to go, then you get another year. If you don't get us up, then it's a deal to the end of the year, and we go again and look at it in the marketplace in the summer.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. And I do agree. It would be a bonus laden contract, promotion, XYZ, really incentive driven, George, which, because that's what you bring. That's what you bring a Neil Warnock for, isn't it? You bring a Neil Warnock in not to finish 9th. You bring him in to finish inside the top 6.
And then to back up a point I made the other day about, making sure we get the right back office team in, we get the assistant manager that the other guy wants. If you look at like Ryan Lowe, Ryan Lowe went to Preston, but then who did Preston appoint, or who did Plymouth appoint as Ryan Lowe's replacement? His assistant manager. So maybe we look, maybe those discussions we were having with Ryan Lowe, like George said earlier on, maybe it was the viewpoint of you can potentially look at Ryan Lowe, but you can't have Ryan Lowe's assistant. I'm just speculating that that's a thing, and the owners could have gone, well, look what happened when we got Cooking without Richardson, and maybe that was part of the decision as to why if we were talking to Lowe, maybe our viewpoint was, well, Preston have come in for him, we can't get his entire backroom team in, that we can't bring in his trusted number 2. So do we really want to repeat? I could be just overthinking that, but it's something that bears thinking about.
That's a good point. A really good point. Obviously, I can hear Mike the fisherman in my ears really saying, "Oh, it's another one with the point of that his assistant. He wouldn't be happy, and he'd be right too." Alex, looking forward to seeing you at the weekend. Take care of yourself. All right.
Take care, guys.
Hang around backstage because you never know when I might bring you in again. You got some good points about you. We've got some comments, and then I'm going to bring in somebody who's vehemently against Neil Warnock. We've got Stephen Parry. I ain't got a clue, and I'm serious because it could be anyone, to be fair. Blue Boy, Warnock would fall out of most of these players. They can't take criticism or bollocking. They just sulk. Vince Bird, Terry has winner's mentality. Contacted his time at Villa, assistant manager at Villa. Perfect appointment. Dennis Edwards, Rotherham game was the time Cook should have been sacked. That performance, I used the word advisedly, shows how far away we were. Then Tim Mulder makes a great comment, George, and says, I think you saw the relief on Ashton's face after Fleetwood's win when he high-fived the crowd. That showed Cook was under pressure then. The Donny, Portsmouth and Wickham games brought...
It was Lincoln. It wasn't Fleetwood.
Time. Yeah, that seems like ages ago, doesn't it, the Lincoln game? Facebook user, I'm still thinking that it will be JT, a promotion will be perfect, plus you need to build from the back. Neil Warnock, that's, is an interesting name, but not to this man here. He's not happy. Talk to us.
Mike, who's your assistant, Nick?
How you doing, Crutcher? That was too easy,
right,
mate.
mate.
You bit there, didn't you?
Mike, George has just asked a fantastic question. Who would your assistant be if you were given the job?
If I got the job?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd take Cruncher all day long.
Come on. We'll sort him out.
Absolutely. The bloke's a legend, mate. Honestly.
Come on.
Mate, honestly, on a real serious note, right? This guy took an idea and got fans going to the game now. Young kids. Right, and I think he deserves a lot of credit, huge amounts of credit, mate. And reading that story today that was on Twitter about that young lad going up to that teacher, that is why you did it in the first place, and that's why fans donated. So, honestly, from my heart, mate, I mean that. All the jokes from that side, I mean absolutely, big up to you, mate. I really do.
But don't let it go to your head, will you, Crunch? Like, start sitting here and saying things like, "Do you know who I am?" Because I know that's not the sort of person you are, but don't let it go to your head or anything. I had some of your mates around here earlier, Mike.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Look, I was hanging out with them. The old fisherman's friends.
Friends.
Absolutely, Mike. You don't want Neil Warnock?
No, not at all. No.
Is that because you'd feel a bit aggrieved that somebody was the same age as you in charge, or
that's fucking mean, that is. Oh, you know what I mean? Jesus Christ. No, look, I'm not going to sit here and say Warnock's not done a lot in his life, but I mean, come on now. He's getting on in years. Are we a club that's just going to make do, or are we a club that's going to look for something sort of, long term? And Warnock's. Look, I'm not. Look, I do some. I don't rate Warnock that much. I know he's got promotions with a few teams, but I just I just get bored of his football. It's not.
Dino says, I think you're jealous, Mike, because Warnock's better looking than you.
Oh, absolutely. But no, I mean, look, I mean,
I'm really surprised
in all honesty, this is about what I want. I want the best for this club. And I want the best for this club. And to me, Warnock's not the best for this club. I want the best manager for the club. I want a long-term manager. I said to you yesterday, Crunch, wasn't it? I sort of sent a message across saying, look, why can't we have a manager for 5, 6, 7 years? Right? You said that just don't happen in this day and age. But it does happen. That's the thing, isn't it? You got Sean Dyche.
Get one if you had a good one.
You've got Sean Dyche. Eddie Howe. I mean, I know he's left Bournemouth now, but he was with them for a long time. Do you know what I mean? There's no reason why we can't look at a manager for 3, 4 years.
I think, but Mike, I think none of us are saying that we don't want. None of us are saying that we don't want a long-term option. I think all we're saying is maybe
I'd get bored of him. I mean, I'm already bored of Neil Harris.
I think that's not really how football works anymore. Apart from on those edge cases like your Howes, and it'd be great to find out how. Don't get me wrong, but no one's saying that we don't want long-term or long-term success. But if we're going to go short-term, I'd rather we did it in a deliberate way where we say this is a short-term thing because we want that long-term appointment, and we will manage the transition between this person and the next person as well as we can, rather than bringing someone in because they're doing okay at their club right now, which is, let's face it, Liam Manning kind of falls into that. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have an issue with Manning if he came in, but he kind of falls into that unproven but feels like he might be the next Eddie Howe type person. He'd be a risk. But like, we can assume that he would be our Eddie Howe, but he would be a big risk.
And to add on to that point there, George, the common denominator between your Howes and your Dyches is that they've had success. If you have success at a football club, you're going to be there for a while. It would factor in. Look at Lambert at Norwich, took him over in League One, back-to-back promotions, was there for a couple of years, then moved on to a bigger job. But Dyche has got Burnley promoted. Howe went through the leagues with Bournemouth, obviously played there as a player.
Yeah, but it's not just them.
Cook could have been here for a long time had he had success though. You got to have success to be in a role long term.
They started off. You had Kirbishley at Charlton. Yeah, you had Sam Allardyce at Bolton. Yeah,
but this is pre-2005. Money changes,
and they brought. No one said Big Sam, and yet look what he's achieved.
I'm really surprised.
If you're going to go down the Warnock route and say, "Oh, look what he'd achieved," why are we not saying Big Sam then?
Some have, but I'm really surprised because I would have had Neil Warnock pegged as your favourite man, seeing the sort of fan that you are.
Because Warnock, for me, every time he's gone to a club, he's spent a lot of money, hasn't he?
That's modern day football. Most managers have spent a lot of money these days. I mean, the days are
over. For me, he's just another. For me, he's just another Lampard, isn't he?
Can I ask you a question? Oh, well, not me, rather Tim Morton. Come on, Fisherman. Who's your man? You were vocal over Cook. Who'd you appoint?
I'm still after that. I still think that Labardier from Germany would be the ideal long-term coach. I really do. I love the way the Germans approach football. I love the way the German managers approach football. The way they structure their teams. I wouldn't have Daniel Farke because obviously come from Norwich, but you couldn't argue that he was a good Championship manager and perhaps out of his depth in the Premier League. But as a Championship manager, you can't argue back. Got the Premier League relegated, got them back promoted. You can't really argue on that. So. A good. I'm just kind of bored with all the. I'm kind of bored with all the English managers. There's no one in. Ryan Lowe was one I was looking at. I know Rich was saying Appleton and that, but I would just like to go with a foreign coach now. I think it's time for the club to sort of look further afield.
because you got been linked with a manager that was once dubbed, I believe, the next Alex Ferguson, and Alex Neil. Would you be interested in Mr. Neil?
That's a hard one, isn't it? Don't know. I just don't know, to be honest. It's one of them, isn't it? But again, he's an ex-Norwich manager, isn't he?
That's the only thing. I like Alex Neil, Mike. I think he's a good manager.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Crunch.
It would be the same if it went wrong, like when you had Lambert. We've gone down that route. Do we want to go down that route again, really?
But the issue you've got, and this really sucks to say, the longer we are shite and the more they are good, you're going to eventually come to a point where most of the managers coming down have got a Norwich connection at some capacity. He's got success on his CV. He's a good manager. Does it matter if he's managed?
Safety guy 20, Mike. He said, you mentioned that guy to me the other week, Chris Coleman.
Yeah.
The Wales manager, Chris Coleman.
Yeah.
Fucking hellfire. Who's got Paul Cook's phone number? Jesus wept.
Yeah. Look, I just kind of, all these make-do managers and all, this make-do and all this lot, we don't have to make do now, do we? If it takes a couple of weeks and if McGreal's in for another week, right? If it means we're going to get a really good setup in place, and McGreal stays in for another week or maybe 2 weeks till they sort this situation out, the new manager's going to come in. Hopefully, the right manager. We all hope that. Let's be brutally honest. He's got the January window to bring in a few players to help sort of strengthen the squad and get rid of a few players that haven't quite sort of stepped up to the plate. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of feel that, if you're going to repair the damage of the last 16, 17 years under Evans, you can't do it with a short-term glue fix. You've got to repair the damage properly.
I think it's all about getting out of this league, Mike. It's all about getting out of this league, and then let's not run before we can walk. We all want to get out of League One, and if it took a Neil Warnock to get us back to the Championship, I'll take it every day.
Who's to say we would stay there? We need a team. We need a team to go up and stay there, Rich.
We need to get there
first. We don't
first.
have that. Right now, our team is not good enough to stay in that Championship.
I mean, it's all about we need to realise where we are at this moment in time, Mike. We need to get out of this league first.
But weren't we saying that in the Championship, though? How many times did we as fans say that in the Championship and say, do you know what? We need to get out of this league. We need to get back in the Premier League. I said it every year. And I know that loads of Ipswich fans said the same thing. We need to get out of this league. We need to get out of this league. And we never did, because obviously we didn't really have the structure in place to do that. If we'd have had these owners that had been in the Championship, I think it would have been more realistic. Right now, we are where we are. I agree. We are where we are right now. And I think we do have to accept where we are. But I'm not convinced on a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And that's where we are with it. We need a long-term problem, not a long-term solution to a long-term problem. It's just look, I know it's all about opinions, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying your opinion's wrong, and I'm not saying your choice of manager is wrong from your point. That's just your opinion on it. For me, I just feel that, this club has had 16 years of utter crap, and we just need to, and it's not been a great start. But
if you want to build something, Mike, if you say you want to build something, you go for a Liam Manning then, someone like him, young coach.
Yeah, well, again, I haven't, but again, do we stick to the same old sort of, British managers in League One or whatever, or do we take on a foreign manager? I'm more inclined to go down the foreign manager route, but that's just me. That's me personally.
But why?
Why? I just think there's,
because it sounds sexy, doesn't it? There's too many fans.
Have we had?
But that's not a reason to go foreign.
Yeah, but it is because it's not worked, has it? Proof in the pudding. It's not
I couldn't
worked.
care if they're from fucking Venus. I just want the best man or woman for the job. Personally, I still want Emma Hayes. I think she'd fucking be brilliant.
Do you know what?
I don't think she'd come down to League One. But
I tell you what, there's been a lot. Do you know what? There's been a lot of people, right, taking the piss because people have said Emma Hayes. Well, no disrespect.
That's because they got.
Why not a woman? Why not a woman in charge? Because it's a man's game. Behave.
Well, yeah. Well,
Some of
no.
them. Look at the Ipswich girls. They play as a team. They play for each other,
Why
right?
not
And they're
Joe
winning
Sheehan then,
games.
I
Mike?
knew
hand
he was
over
gonna
fist.
fucking say it. I
Why
knew
not Joe Sheehan? Why not Joe then?
Sorry.
Why
because
not
he's
Joe
not Emma.
Sheehan?
He's not Emma Hayes. He's not managing at the top level of the female
I
game.
get that. I'm just
No,
saying.
no.
He needs to either break into the men's game or go take the team higher. And then, Mike, as always, appreciate you coming on. Going to be somebody else
No,
on in just a
brilliant.
second. Look after yourself. Good luck fishing.
Cheers,
And
guys.
name
Yeah,
that's
thanks a
coming.
lot. Take
See
care.
you at Barrow, yeah?
See you at Barrow.
No,
See you
no,
at
mate.
Barrow.
I'm fishing.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. That's what I thought.
Get him out.
A name that's come up, George, from Away Day Beers. Don't forget Away Day Beers, $14.99.
He's
ITFC
George's,
Legends
man.
pack.
There you go.
It is good stuff. Nuts. I'm going to say Nutson, but it's not
Nuts. Is that what we're going to call him? Yeah.
Nuts. What is the surname pronunciation?
I assume it's Knutson.
So that's why I don't want a fucking foreign manager. I struggle with Rob Smith. Give me somebody like that.
Just
I'm going to
pronounce
fucking
all of
sit
the
here
letters in the name. Pronounce all of the letters in the name. You can't
I
go
just
wrong.
did. I found phonics at school. Nutson. George, is your man for the job.
Yeah.
Tell the people at home why.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I'm not. I don't want to go down a sort of like foreign over British coach, but when I look through the list of whatever it is, 48 favourites for the job that are on Bet Victor, the one market that I can find, not a single one of them, maybe one or two of them, fill me with any kind of, oh, he might be a good long-term option because he's either on the rise or he's got a bit of something about him. And it doesn't take an awful lot. And I'm sure there's probably more managers on the continent. It's just, as I said before, this is one that's come to my attention recently because he was very loosely tipped, I think, with the Norwich job, and that probably puts him well out of our range. Although he is currently being tipped with Mold and Rosenborg, I think, in Norway, who both finished lower than Bodo Glimt. So, if that's, it might come down to whether it's the right time. It might come down to whether we're even remotely interested. But I think Knutson's record so far, he above anyone else that I've seen, and I haven't made an exhaustive search, strikes me as someone to get excited about and get behind. I think he could just, he's that person that would excite fans. His style of football is described as the kind of thing that we've always said we're crying out for, like a high pressing 4-3-3. I think he plays. His teams play to score goals and don't really concede many goals, like huge amounts of goals. He's obviously got and I think one of the things that entices me about these managers that haven't had their entire career in the UK or in England is that they have different contacts, they have different experience, they know different players, they know different people. You could look at the Helsinger coach too, Mortensen, I think his name is, or Eskison, sorry, Morten Eskison, isn't it? Again, great record, up and coming, young-ish. I think they're both early 50s. I think if we haven't at least, like, the Norwegian league has just finished. There's been talk about him wanting a move somewhere. If we haven't at least sort of thrown the net out that far and said, would you maybe potentially be interested? Because as much as we want a Howe, why not go for our Nuno or our Farker or whoever and just take a punt? If we're going to take a punt, I'd rather take that kind of punt than go for someone like Bircham or someone that we as a club know vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
I'll get some comments. Joe Bradley, Mike is the most Brexit bloke ever. British jobs for British coaches is what I'm telling you. All right. No, I'm not. Stephen Parry, might be a reason for the delay. We just don't know how. No, hence the media should be asking to rule out names. Yeah, that would involve.
I'm sure they're asking.
Is that the media mogul writing under Stephen Parry's name there? Facebook user Mick McCarthy would 100% get us out of League One and is available. Mark Tuckford's got to be a big name that demands respect from his players short term. Neil Warnock is the only man who won't bring that between now and the end of the season. Lee Bayliss maybe should have stuck with Cook till end of season and gone again next season unless something's gone on behind closed doors. Matt Stannar, a couple of pools we could rattle through first. Paul Clement and Paul Tilsdale. About Steve King, Crunch.
Paul who? What did you call him?
Paul Tisdale.
Tilsdale, you called him. So it's Colin in the chat. Is Colin
I'm
coming
reading
up?
it fast. No.
Colin's today. He's gone from Lampard to Mowbray to Warnock, and now he wants Emma Hayes in the chat. So I'm a bit confused. Colin, who do you want?
Well, about big manager, managed the Premier League before, Steve Keane.
Crunch.
Where is he now?
No.
I don't know I don't even know where he is. Basically, I quite like Nick. The old saying, "Be careful what you wish for." Even he had a better record. Lee Anderson, who do you want?
Lovely tree.
Beautiful tree. How much did it cost you?
I don't know. I have nothing to do with that. I don't.
Well, I wasn't sure if you could be at the top end of my list.
Nothing to do
No,
with me.
I can tell that.
It's a new one. Probably about 80 quid, probably.
Oh, you come second on our list of trees.
Mine was
Probably
50 quid, by the way, Martin. My missus told me today.
And Crunch, if you got yours from Homebase, you'd probably get it half price in B&Q because Homebase is really expensive.
Don't know. My
So
missus
you probably get it cheaper elsewhere.
And he'd probably get the senior discount on a Tuesday, wouldn't he? So, yeah. Anyway,
Who do I want? I want anybody that will give Norwood a contract extension.
Oh, fuck off, man!
Here he is.
Fuck off! I'm not.
Does he want one?
Oh no!
Who else is going to pay him?
Tranmere.
Yeah, contract end of the season, Lee.
I'm not sure that's a good reason.
Yeah, so I said extension. Just give him another year. Right. Here we go. We're not getting out of League One this year, are we? Come on. Let's be honest. It's not going to happen.
Fucking hell.
As George said,
you saying it because you're normally positive, aren't you?
6 points out of 9, probably more than that. More than you're going to need more than 2 points a game now. I'm not sure that's going to happen, possibly. But anyway, going back to the manager, Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock, the best manager at the wrong time.
Possibly, but if Norwood wants a contract extension, he's going to score goals. If he scores goals, I'll love him. So that's the remit. Go and score goals. Stay fit. Don't forget, early part of the season, he came back roaringly ready to go and then pulled a hamstring. He's got to stay fit.
He's done more than the other strikers in half an hour than the last 6-7 games.
Yeah, but the issue with James Norwood's always been he'll play half an hour, then have 3 weeks on the treatment table.
But he'll still come back and do a job, won't he?
Yeah, but those 3 weeks you play 10 games and your season gets lost. Like that's always been the issue, isn't it? Around Ipswich Town.
Well, if he stays
I get your point.
That's the
if
gamble.
he stays fit.
But going back, Warnock, best manager, wrong time. 1, he's too old, and 2, he doesn't fit into the long-term plans of the club, does he? That's the shame. We should. Why? Because if you go right back to the start when there was the takeover and we're all jumping through hoops and celebrating as if we'd won the World Cup, we all did it. O'Leary and Ashton have said, whether you believe them or not, we have a long-term plan. We're going to have a plan. We're going to stick to it. If the long-term plan is to sack your managers after 9 months for the next 5 years, then so be it. But I don't think that's the plan. And people saying bringing Warnock in to the end of the season, well, that's another transfer window gone, and it's that half of the season without trying to rebuild the club. So that's why I don't think Warnock will come in, and that's why I would be against him, because it doesn't fit the long-term plan. He would be great. He could have walked in this club any time in the last 20 years, couldn't he? Yeah. We would have had him in open arms, without doubt. And he gets players playing for him. And that's, and in terms of who we want to come in, we've got to, whatever we say about Cook, he did attract, and people might slate me for this, he did attract the right type of player. We've got players that have come down from the Championship because of him. And that's
they didn't perform, Lee, and they got him the sack.
Yeah, well, that might be down to his tactics. There's a lot that goes. But we've always said you can't just have the best players and expect to win every week. That doesn't happen, does it? So it's a general thing. The players haven't always performed, but the way we've set up and played, we've all said it here, haven't we? And loads of people have said not having 2 strikers, only one up top, not having a plan B, this, that, and the other. That doesn't always come down to the players, does it? That can come down to the shape of the team and how you play. The bottom line is Cook is responsible for it and he goes. But the next manager that comes in, he's going to need the second half, or she, as we've been talking about, They need the second half. They obviously need the second half of this season, and they've got to be given a proper run at it. They've got to be given the summer transfer window, and that at least 18 months. That full season. But there has to be improvement, and I think where Cook has fallen out is that we had that little rise up, and then we've dropped down again. So I just think it's got to be someone that's going to again attract players. But where do we go? The squad might need an overhaul in January. I mean, we're saying, we want to get rid of him because he's dross and he's not performed. Let's get rid of him. But what about people coming in for people like Edmondson? What about losing our best players?
Well, could this January finally be the January, Lee, that we have Neil Warnock in the dugout and David Nugent up front? Could this be them?
Oh yeah, 10 years too late. The right people at the wrong time.
Classic Town, though, isn't it? 10 years too late. We've got Nathan Ellerton when he stopped scoring goals.
Can I ask you a question?
Moment.
Can I ask you a question about something you said there about the next manager having a proper run at it?
Yeah.
Is that regardless of what happens? Because that's one of the things that I'm confused about with people saying about time with managers is what's a time amount? What is the minimum amount of time before people say, no, he's had long enough? Because I could tell you within, I don't know, sometimes within 10 days if I think somebody's good at their job, sometimes within a day, sometimes within 6 months, sometimes within 12 months. That depends on the person. It depends on the job they're doing. It depends on the effect they have on the people that work under them, particularly when they're a leader. All of those things. And this idea that people need to be given time, if you're just going to keep flogging the same dead horse, it's not going to come back to life.
Yeah. I sort of take the point, but you're trying to build a club, aren't you? You're trying to build time, and I know perhaps Colin's not coming on, but look at Robson. Look at the time he had.
He is.
I know they're different days, but you can with the right investment. If you think you've got the right person, what makes someone good on a Monday and then crap on the Tuesday? If you believe in that person, that they're not bad overnight, are they?
Obviously, they didn't believe in Cook, did they?
Pardon?
Obviously, they didn't believe in Cook.
But every manager can only go so far in an interview process. You can only get so much out of somebody's past at a completely different club with completely different players, completely different plans, and completely different everything else. You can only get so much out of their history. You can only get so much out of a chat with them, as Matt described it as yesterday, before you have to take a gamble, and it's always going to be a gamble. But equally, we have to acknowledge that every appointment that we make is a gamble. We're never, ever going to sign a manager who guarantees us success. But we have to be brave about acknowledging that it's okay to say, this manager's been successful other places, but he's probably not. The signs are he's not going to be a success here. And that's okay. We haven't failed because we've sacked Cook. I think we've made the right decision. We might not have made the right decision. We'll never know. But I think it was the right decision, and they obviously think it was the right decision too. But people and I'm not saying you're saying this, Lee, but I'm confused about this. He needs to be given 6 months and then the next season, because we won't know if he's going to be any good for 18 months. I'm sorry, it's tosh.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're,
I agree.
I mean, I'll come back on that to a point. If you're running the club and you're Ashton and O'Leary and you're going to change your 20, you've got to think about whose money you're spending and how you're going to spend that. If every 6 or 9 months you're going to rotate the squad and get players out, unless you're making money on those players, you've got to look at the financial cost as well. And O'Leary and Ashton have said they're not just going to throw the money at it; they're going to spend it wisely, and they're going to do it over with a long-term plan. Now, if Cook has come in, he's been demolition man and he's failed, hasn't he? He's not lived up to what he was going to say. Now, I would think where Game Changer 20 and Ashton and O'Leary have come to the conclusion is that he was going to strip the club out. He stripped it out. He's had all his players, whether or not you believe they're all his or not, I don't know, but he's had all those players and they've not performed. Now, I wonder also on this, if he had a free run at it this season and not come in at the end of last season, I probably think he'd probably still be in a job. I think that because he was so poor with the same result with a different squad of players, that he's had 2 half seasons, hasn't he? He's had a full season almost, hasn't he? we were where we were and where we ended up at the end of the season is unforgivable. And
Agreed.
And really, that was Evan's decision because he'd already brought Cook in. But those players are never going to play for him. So whether or not that's his fault or not, that's the bottom line. They're all down in tools, aren't they? Because half of them are going. But there was no improvement on. I think Game Changer 20 and the board, whoever, expected us to be better than what we were. So he's paid the price because there hasn't been enough. There probably hasn't been enough progress, and there might be other reasons.
There's been no progress. There's been no progress.
No,
there's been none.
Some of the football's been better.
That's the issue.
And
it should be. The budget's bigger.
Yeah, but if people
that's like saying my meals. Go on.
Yeah, but if you've not been to Portman Road and not been entertained by most of these games, then you need to go back and watch the McCarthy era at the end. And I know that we won, and I know that we're winning games, and everyone likes winning games, but we've been entertained, haven't we? We have been entertained. And that doesn't get you out of the league all the time. I get that. But look at Saturday with Wigan Crunch. It's a poor game, wasn't it? It was a poor game. We set up, we defended our own half first half. We couldn't get out. Everyone's blaming Lee Evans because he can't make a pass to anybody. Well, it's going back to the McCarthy era where Cole Scouse couldn't pick a pass because he had no one to pass to because they were all bloody standing behind him. And, so I think we've been entertained. So there is that side of it to it. So the next manager comes in. What do we want? Do we want
results?
The 0-0s and the 1-1s? Do we want to go back to almost Lambert style of football where we're always in the games but we're never going to score goals and we might play high up the league? Or do we want to play flair football and get tonked every week? I know what everybody wants. They want to win 6-0 every week. But that's not the reality of football, is it? And that's a very difficult.
I do agree with Lee to a point there about entertainment. But then if you put 6 out of the last 10 games, Lee, I know 2 of them that John McGreal's in charge, we ain't scored in. So that entertainment disappeared very quickly. Didn't it?
Yeah. Well, that could be that could go back to George's point then, isn't it? That's the tipping point, isn't it? That's the point. Well, we're not winning games and we're not entertained and we've gone really, we've gone backwards, quite. I
think Rotherham was the game for me, Lee, where I sat there and watched that, and I thought this is no different than 2 years ago under Lambert. They come down and beat us 2-0. They done the same, and I thought
that's down to shape. That's down to Cook. That is because Cook sets the team up to play a certain way.
True.
And if you don't play, if you give McCarthy his due, I know he would always set up to defend against the bottom of the league. But when you're playing the teams at the top who are in good form, you have to sometimes sit back and go, well, if we play our expansive game here, we're likely to get beat. We're going to have to give them a little bit of respect when they're at home and just sit, and just change the tactics slightly. If we'd have turned up with a different team against them, they would have taken half an hour to suss out what was going on. And by that time, you could have scored and everything. But I just think the players have looked lost. And I think that's in the performances. So there is no progression. So that's where Cook has to, he has to take his medicine, doesn't he?
Like you said, Martin, you said easy to play against, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Really. And Saturday, look, McGreal didn't reinvent the wheel Saturday, Lee. He made us. It just made us hard to beat. And that's maybe at the minute that's what we need to do. Go back to basics. Yeah. I'm not sure Saturday we're playing at home. We're going to have nearly 30,000 in the ground. A lot of people will be going there Saturday expecting us to be on the front foot.
Yeah,
but I don't think
I made that point. I made that point after the game on at the station. You've got to expect it's got to be different. Games have got to be tight. You can't expect to win every week, and you can't expect to not have periods in games where whatever team you're playing against, whether it's Crew or anybody, are not having a period of the game. That's league football. I can't watch any football, even in the Premier League, even Man City. They have times where they have to dig in and defend properly and take their medicine, because that's the way. Even if it's bottom of the league, except Norwich and maybe Newcastle, the rest of them are going to get, games. But one thing I noticed about McGreal, and this is the one positive from the defeat from the first game, is that he had obviously put things in place, because every time Walton got the ball, he was looking to throw that ball out really quickly. I really noticed that. Although it didn't do us any good in the end. So he has made a difference. He's seen things looking from afar that he's tried to change. And Cook never did that.
Well,
so I think McGreal is...
In Cook's defence, he was really going at Christian Walton for not throwing it
Barrow
out
gave he was, wasn't he?
quicker. I mean, perhaps, he really was having a right go at Christian, and he did want him quicker. Anyway, Lee, I appreciate you coming on. Got some
cheers, guys.
I can appreciate it, buddy. Some great points as always from Mr. Lee Anderson. I love hearing from Lee. He's on the sofa this week.
Was he? He was on the floor again, wasn't he?
I thought
that was on the sofa.
No,
it's just a different angle.
Fair enough. Angles do matter. Two aren't mutually exclusive. Winning and playing well. Like, why are we getting into the mindset? Do you want to play well and possibly get beat 5-0? Or do you want to dig in and play really crap? And 94. Love it. Tim Molan put a down the pub debate. TT all the way. We love it, Tim. Love it.
Said this before, mine. We hated it under McCarthy towards the end.
They're not mutually fucking exclusive. You don't have to choose. It's not like, it's not like a roulette wheel. You go, well, I'm going to pick this poison this week. Like, literally, we can play well and still win games. We have to get that into our mindset. But equally, we have to get into our mindset that we're in League One, as Lee says, and we're not going to control the game for 90 minutes. That is an impossible situation because we're not the best in the league. But good question I do want to explore this question at some point, George, that you asked, because I think it's a really good question. How long is too long? I wrote down 20 to 30 matches is my...
Well, how long's not long enough?
My snapshot.
Yeah. I don't. There's not an answer to the question. I think that's the point. Everybody has a different feeling.
Absolutely, and football's not like any other business. It's really its own standalone thing, and you can't look at other businesses and say, oh well, that's how we want to do it, or that's how we should do it. £5 from Neil Perks, absolutely love it. Mowbray and Stewart, great shows always go. Thank you ever so much, Neil. Really appreciate that.
If you lose 15 out of your first 16 games, you're not going to last very long, right?
Like Paul Hurst, George, when he came in, no one would think that he'd just have 14 games.
Yeah, if the next, and let's hope they don't, if the next person comes in and loses 10 of their first 12 games, I'd like Lee to be back here saying give him another 12 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wrote down 20 to 30 because I thought that gives you enough time to deal with injuries, suspensions, form, in-game adjustments.
Had injuries and suspensions. Like nobody, like you might have the fittest squad and most well-behaved squad in the league. It's all circumstantial, isn't it? It's all done on circumstance, all of it. And that's my point. Like, if the manager's being crap, someone will know. And if the person who's in charge of the club knows, then they'll get rid of them. The rest of us might feel like we know, but the only people that matter in terms of their opinion is the people at the club. And coming back to the long-term plan thing, I suspect very strongly that a long-term plan doesn't involve the next manager comes in and stays for 5 years. That's the plan. The plan will be, in 5 years' time, we want to be on or knocking at the door of the Premier League. What happens in the meantime will be down to circumstance. Managers are likely to come and go in the next 5 years if that doesn't look likely to happen. That's just how it is.
I think we have to look at this Cook removal crunch as a clear sign from the game changer crew that we're not here to piss about. Like, we're not wasting time. Like, we might have said patience, but we're not wasting time. We want promotion because promotion means championship, means more money, means better exposure. And then we want to go again. We're not here for a good time. We're not here for a jolly up. We're not here for transatlantic flights and high fives in the director's box. We're here to get promotion. It shows the ruthless ambition of the football club, doesn't it? It really does.
Well, look, it's so un-Ipswich Town. I think, like we said, Martin, on the Sunday after Cookie had gone, that was
love it.
But times are changing, I think, and whoever comes in, look, we all want him to do well. Whoever the next manager in, I know we all have different opinions. Mike doesn't want Warnock. Michael want a foreign coach, but it doesn't really matter who it is. They just have to come in and they have to get results and they have to improve what we're doing at the minute, because we're sitting in 12th. This is why I think for this season, we need to get someone in sooner or later, Martin. Them games around Christmas for me are crucial. 3 games at home with big crowds. Gillingham away should be 3 points. They're not ripping up the league. There is a chance here for a new manager to come in and get that momentum, and get that snowball rolling. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, if we don't appoint a manager, it could be McGreal till the end of the season, possibly. You know,
Well,
that
this is it.
but then what's he expected to do? I don't know. I liked how he spoke after the game Saturday. Look, I like John McGreal. I don't think he's the manager for us at the minute. I honestly don't.
But the longer this goes on, Crunch, the more he's crowbarring himself into the conversation.
Well, he has to. You know, he has to, because they're looking around for managers at the minute. If he can get some results on the board, if he's manager of Barrow,
£2 from Lloyd. Martin, what was the best? Oh, fuck off. Bastard.
Oh, come on, that's not very nice.
Have your £2 back, all right? I'm going to send it back with a lot of bear-related
stuff
with it.
If McGreal gets a win at Barrow, then Saturday, if he's in charge against Sunderland, and we beat Sunderland, you know, he's got 2 wins, a draw, and a loss, you know, and he's improving us. Interesting today, they've cancelled, I think the under-23 games is cancelled, Martin, so I'm not sort of sure what sort of team we're going to line up at Barrow. If it was up to me, I'll be sending the full first team down there. We're on the TV. We don't want to get embarrassed. We've been on the TV before. We've been embarrassed by lower teams than Barrow, you know, Lincoln. Go there and win the game. It's another game to win. I know you're not that worried about the FA Cup, but I think at the minute, the situation we're in, we just need a win and we need a lift.
We do. But, you know, back to McGreal, because you've got to mention him. He really surprised me on Saturday. It kind of blew me away, to be fair. Really, for me, and I'm very much aligned, and I know that, he really started to put himself forwards. And Sunderland this week is a big test if he's in charge of it, a promotion rival. Then you've got Gillingham, Lincoln, Wickham. The longer John McGreal's in charge and the longer he can show what he did on Saturday. For Saturday, George, he did the things I wanted Paul Cook to do that he never did. He changed the formation. He wasn't afraid to be bold. He made in-game adjustments. He made substitutions that really affected things. And he tried to be proactive instead of reactive with his subs. If he does that against Sunderland and against Gillingham and such forth, and gets results with it, I'm going to be sat on this chair saying, give it John McGreal. I can see myself doing it.
But you've just described the basics of modern football management.
But we've been without it for so long. We've been without
exactly, and I'd warn against being too enamored by it, because all he's doing is what the least I would expect of a manager to do. It's what we've been crying out for our coach to do. I love John McGreal. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to play himself into a long-term manager's gig. I think he's the right man for now. I think he is. If Neil Warnock gets a job tomorrow, he'd move up my list in terms of short-term options, but I think it would need to be a clear short-term option. I think that's what he is. He is not someone that I think is particularly on the rise in management. I don't think he is the right kind of appointment for us, with the greatest respect to John McGreal right now. I don't think he's a likely appointment, even if he beats Sunderland at the weekend. And I get the impression from what he said and how he said it, that he's not expecting to be, or particularly interested in being, if I'm honest. Like he talks an awful lot about the next guy that comes in. I think that's great. Let him come in and be a big part of the under-23s and be part of the next plan for transition. Maybe next time around we'll be talking about McGreal and Dyer as a management, as the obvious choice for the next management team, because they've been groomed. But I don't think John McGreal is who we need right now. But I agree that he is doing exactly what we've been crying out for Cook to do. But what we've been crying out for Cook to do is really simple stuff.
It is. It really is. It really is.
There's another one who doesn't know who I am. What are these people doing watching? Where have they been the last year and a half?
Here you go.
Anyway, Joe Bradley said in the chat, we got 210 people watching and only 27 likes. Pull your fingers out. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. Come on.
Absolutely. How many are on YouTube? It's 209 at the moment. Come on, that's 209 likes. You must be liking the content. This is proper football debate. Absolutely. And before I bring in Colin, we are on a time schedule. What?
I got work tomorrow.
I mean that in the nicest. No, I don't. Oh, come on. Rich, tell Matt Stannard, is that a green screen or not? Because Matt Stannard's convinced it's a green screen.
Shirts hanging out. It's just my shirts. Look.
Put your hand through it. There you go, Matt. It's not a green screen. It's not a green screen. It's not a green screen.
Where's your one anyway? Where's your Christmas one and your beard?
Well, I've lost the beard.
Hey,
Yeah, it was here, then it's gone. Although I have got a chocolate coin, which I might have in a minute. Get the egg timer, Gov. Get the egg timer, Gov. Fucking hell, Lloyd. You can see him on Saturday, Lloyd. Okay, here he is coming in. Where did the cricket shirts go? Are they in a heap on the floor?
They're in the kitchen, mate.
They're in the kitchen. Right, here he goes. Colin! Oh, what a lovely tree behind you there, Colin.
How are you, Gov? All right?
I'm very well. What is it about you lot all putting yourselves in front of your trees? It's like, I love it.
Well, I only got it on Sunday, but so that was all right. But first thing I'd like to say is to Rich about that little message, little letter you sent me. I actually read that out to our head's PA, and she was really emotional. I read it out to her. I'll tell you what, that was fantastic. That was, mate, absolutely fantastic.
Sorry, Colin, I have to put you on mute because Matt Stannard's just paid £10. Amazing value tonight. F1 show, cricket show, and Talking Town. What great value! It's what we do at TT Towers. I'll unmute you now, Colin. Sorry, mate. There you go.
That's all right. That's all right, mate. No, that was fantastic, Rich, and yeah, superb. I can't say no more than that. Absolutely brilliant, fantastic.
Colin.
Yeah.
Have you put your name forward for the job yet? Have you sent your CV in?
I'd love to have 5 minutes in there. I'll tell you. They'd come out foreign. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Well, that's true. That's true.
They would come out there foreign.
Who do you want as manager, Colin?
Well, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I had a chat with Rich today. I agree with what Rich said about Warnock. I'm not anti-Warnock. I'd love to see Mogger, if I'm honest, but can I see that happening? Possibly not. Hope I'm wrong. I think it was Kingy said a little while ago, said something about Neil Lennon. I'm not anti Neil Lennon, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he's the kind of person. I know you're screwing your face up, Rich.
Not for me.
I'll tell you, Rich, there are players in there he'd rip to pieces. I'll tell you, he would kick them up the arse as good as Warnock. No doubt about that whatsoever.
Could lace Warnock's boots.
So basically, Colin, you've listed the ones in the running and they've all got good points. And we're no further forward to finding out who you actually want because you're sitting on the George Nunn fence.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. If you pushed me, I would go for Mogger.
But tomorrow morning it would be Emma Hayes. Then tomorrow afternoon it would be John Terry.
No, not Emma Hayes. Not Emma. No, I'm not going to see. The thing is, no. Let me talk, Gov. I'll tell you what. When people mention Emma Hayes, I think you're getting on thin ice there. Well, you are, because I can't think of, how can I put this? I can't think of any other lady.
You can't put it.
No disrespect to ladies at all. I can't think of any lady who manages in the English Football League.
It's coming though. It'll come, Colin, and it won't.
I'm not saying it isn't. Rich, why? Answer me a question. Gov, you answer me a question.
Is this not you? Is this not you? Colin Plum, Emma Hayes, England ladies manager for me. Is that not your handiwork?
He's got it.
No, what I was going to say to you, Gov.
No. Answer the question. Is that not your handiwork?
That certainly is. Yeah.
So we're establishing that you changed your opinion a lot more than hopefully Mark Ashton, although perhaps that's why it's taken so long. Maybe he has a cup of coffee and he goes from one candidate to another and he can't quite decide because you clearly can't decide. Can you?
I can.
You can't.
I can. If you ask me who I think is going to be or who I want to be Ipswich Town manager, it isn't Emma Hayes.
But it was an hour ago.
What?
But
no, I would like her as England ladies manager.
All right.
Not Ipswich Town.
All right.
Not Ipswich Town.
That is an FIA loophole. right there. That is an FIA loophole. You're doing a Max Verstappen to me. You've heard the points tonight about Warnock. You've heard the points about Knutson. You've heard the points about a lot of managers. Neil Lennon, you were getting onto there. Tell me a bit about Neil Harris as we close the show. Why would you or would you not want Neil Harris?
I wouldn't be anti Neil Harris if I'm honest.
That's not a surprise.
Sorry?
That's not a surprise. You're not anti any of the managers on the list.
No, like I said in the chat the other day, Gov, whoever gets the job, we all support. Now, let me just say why I wouldn't be anti Neil Harris. Neil Harris has got a good CV. He was a very, I'm not going to say great, for God's sake. He was a very good player. Okay. Right. He's done not too bad as a manager. We heard people saying months ago about fighting against adversity and stuff. Neil Harris has been through a lot in his life over the last few years, and he's come out of it firing, if you like, you know. And I think, you know, he might just prove quite a few people wrong. And I also think, Martin, and Rich and George, I also think he might just be an Ipswich Town kind of manager, if you know what I mean. Because, you know, he's not like one of these loudmouth so-and-sos. He seems to, from looking from afar, the jobs he's done before, you know, he seems a nice guy, and he seems the kind of bloke who could maybe, you know, be good with the youth. I would presume he comes across as that kind of character who would probably be good with youth and what have you. Look, do I think he'll get the job? Probably not. But if he does, and let's face it, I mean, I don't know what he is at the moment, 2-1 or whatever. If he does, I know Rich, for definite, and you, Martin, and George, myself, my boys, everybody. You know, we just got to get behind that person. And are we out of this? No, we're not. Like I said to Andrew today, we got Sunderland on Saturday, followed by, is it Gillingham, and then Wickham, and then Lincoln. All of those 4 games, I know what Rich is thinking, but all those 4... No, Rich, quite honestly...
3-0 probably in all of them games, Colin, to win, haven't you?
All those 4 games are winnable, Rich.
Yeah, we went up to... In this league, any game's winnable on your day, but we need to get moving, Colin. Like I said, we need to get moving.
Talking of moving, Heidi Oldfield said the new manager will be named before Colin makes his mind up. Which, you know, possibly is true. Great comment from Heidi. Absolutely love it. You can keep doing those, Heidi. That's classic. Gold star for yourself. Colin, we're out of time. I'm so sorry. We are live again on, you know, I mean, I run the show. I could go on again, but I don't.
Gov. Mogger for me.
Mogger for you. Yeah, but you only get Mogger by getting out of this league. So L Roads lead back to Neil Warnock, possibly. Like
I said to Rich earlier, if we have Neil Warnock till the summer, and even if we had him for, you know, the next season, but all roads lead to Mogger for me.
Okay, all right, Colin. As always,
I would like to think.
I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Stay well. Keep watering that tree. All right.
Oh, by the way, who's going to the unveiling on Saturday? I will be there.
You're our correspondent. You're going.
I'm waiting for the John Walk statue, Colin.
Where's that going then?
Take that off. Take that off air. I do not want no controversy on the show. Thank you ever so much. You already caused enough. You already caused enough as it is. We are back live on Wednesday. Myself, Steve, and I do need a contributor. So if you want to come on the show, let me know. Neil is currently unavailable, so there is a spot to go alongside.
Is there no Wi-Fi in Scotland where he is?
No, he's sharing. He's sharing with a group of people. I don't know.
Was he?
I don't know his situation. So
is he topping tailing?
Again, I don't know his situation. So I just know he can't be doing it. But we're live again 7:15 for Barrow. So let me know. DM me. I'll get back to you at some point. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, let me know. But until then, this has been a great show. I've really enjoyed tonight. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Got some great numbers. I keep seeing something come up in the chat that I don't understand. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I keep seeing it from different people. So I someone explain it to me if they know. But I don't know. Oscar says, I don't care if we get Mrs. Warnock as long as we win games. And Mike Fishman says, walkie statue. Dominic says, screenshot Gov's frozen face, his new profile picture. Oh, have I frozen? Brilliant.
Not now. You had.
This computer was on the blip all day long. And this mouse, literally, takes about 100 clicks to end the show. But anyway, we're back Wednesday. Mike the Fishman's already said Warnock out if he gets appointed.
Oh, my Lord.
Brilliant. But yeah, support us through Ko-Fi. All the monthly support is invaluable, helps the show to grow. He has been the designer, George Nunn.
You got to support the Gov. You know, what other platform gives you Formula One, cricket, Ipswich Town? No one.
No, nobody. You know, I'm now gonna go downstairs and see if I've still got a wife. I think she came home at some point this evening. I don't think I've seen her, but yeah, I'll let you all know. But until next time, with love, with care, you're all miracles. Up the town.
We're off to Barrow.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding